He was just doing his job. A young man behind the wheel of a delivery van, dropping off packages like he'd done 100 times before. No sirens, no warning. Just an ordinary afternoon on a quiet street in Shrewsbury. But what happened next was anything but ordinary. In a matter of seconds, 8 masked men appeared from nowhere, armed, silent, and ready to kill. The attack was so fast, so brutal, that by the time neighbors rushed out, the pavement was already soaked in blood. And the most terrifying part? This wasn't random. This was a setup. Someone had given them his exact location. Someone he knew. Someone he trusted. What followed was a nationwide manhunt, an international arrest, and a courtroom full of heartbreak. But the pain didn't end with a verdict, because one question still remains unanswered. Why was Aurman Singh really targeted? Before we uncover the full truth, I need your help. Please like this video. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Leave a comment to let us know how this story made you feel. And don't forget to subscribe to Cold Crime Diaries for more true crime stories that matter. Now, picture this. It's 1:30 p.m. You're walking to a doorstep with a parcel in your hand, unaware that you're being watched, and you're seconds away from never making it home again. Let's begin. The sun beat down gently over the quiet streets of Barrack Avenue in Shrewsbury, its light filtering through the trees in hazy patches of gold. It should have been a normal day, the kind of day that comes and goes without fanfare, a delivery route, a few packages, maybe a quick lunch at the side of the van. But for 23-year-old Aurman Singh, that late August afternoon in 2023 will be the last one he would ever see. He didn't know they were watching him. The van was parked neatly by the curb, hazard lights blinking, radio low. He stepped out with parcel in hand, not knowing that down the road, concealed in a second vehicle, masked men sat in silence, waiting. The plan had been in motion for days. The weapons had been chosen: a shovel, a cricket bat, an axe, a hockey stick, a golf club. Not guns, too loud, too impersonal. This wasn't about speed or efficiency. This was about pain. The attackers emerged suddenly, running toward him like shadows ripping free from pavement. Aurman barely had time to flinch. Witnesses later said it looked like something from a horror film. 8 men in dark clothes, faces masked, weapons swinging with brutal precision. The first blow came down hard. The second followed faster. Aurman staggered, blood already soaking through his clothes as he screamed. But there was no one to save him. As the assault continued, one of the attackers filmed it, laughing. A trophy, a message, a ritualized end to a young man's life. And then, just as fast as they came, they vanished, slipped back into their car, engines humming, tires screeched. By the time police arrived, it was too late. Aurman lay broken in the street, his body barely recognizable. His turban had fallen off, blood pooled beneath him. The quiet street would never forget the sound of those screams. News spread quickly. A DPD driver, murdered on duty. The motive? Unknown. The attackers? Faceless. But the horror was very real. And behind the shock, a question began to grow like rot beneath floorboards. How did they know where he'd be? How did they know the exact time, the exact location? The answer would come days later, quietly, shamefully, from within. It started with a phone. Detectives found that Aurman's route had been leaked. The man who leaked it? Someone from inside his own company. Someone who worked for the same team, shared the same uniform, laughed at the same break table. A colleague turned conspirator. The betrayal cut deeper than any of the weapons ever could. West Mercia police launched a full-scale manhunt. CCTV footage revealed part of the escape route. Cars speeding to the countryside, license plates obscured. Body-worn footage from officers showed the chaos in real time. One suspect was caught by a stinger deployed during a high-speed pursuit. Others disappeared. But 2 of them, 2 key figures in the murder, had vanished completely. Authorities suspected they had fled the UK. Tips came in from Austria. Interpol was alerted. Weeks turned into months. Grief simmered into fury. And then a break. On May 20th, 2024, deep in the quiet village of Hohenzollern, Austria, police executed a warrant. 2 men were arrested, Mehakdeep Singh and Sehajpal Singh, both from Tipton, West Midlands. No struggle, just a silence. A plane ride back. Handcuffs. Hooded heads bowed. By the time they returned to the UK, 5 others had already been convicted. The man who leaked Aurman's location? Manslaughter. The rest? Murder. But the families couldn't rest until Mehakdeep and Sehajpal faced justice too. The ones who ran. The ones who thought they'd gotten away. In March 2025, their trial began at Stafford Crown Court. The evidence was overwhelming. CCTV, witness testimony, forensic tracking, cell-site analysis placed them at the scene. But it was the footage. Those seconds of grainy video showing masked men swinging weapons with surgical hate that told the story better than any expert ever could. In the courtroom, Aurman's mother, Kuljit Kaur, sat with her hands folded tightly in her lap. Her son, she told reporters later, had always been a quiet soul, a boy who loved cricket, who helped with groceries, who held the door open for elders. She could not watch the footage. She couldn't bear to hear the screams again. During sentencing, the judge didn't mince words. This was a carefully planned, brutal, and merciless attack, he said. Aurman Singh was defenseless. He didn't stand a chance. He looked at the 2 men standing before him, expressionless, cold. You will each serve life with a minimum of 28 years. But no number could erase the blood from that street. No sentence could unbreak a mother's heart. The BBC's new season of Murder 24/7 brought the case back into the national conversation in June 2025. With full access to police body cam footage, Ring doorbell recordings, and crime scene walkthroughs, the documentary painted a picture of chaos, confusion, and dog pursuit. Viewers watched as officers pieced together fragmented images from doorbell cameras, using license plate reflectivity and tire tracks to locate the getaway vehicle. They saw how a team of detectives traced calls made from burner phones to triangulate movement across the Midlands. But what made the documentary unforgettable wasn't the investigation. It was the silence of the aftermath, the way the camera lingered on Aurman's empty uniform, still folded neatly in his van, the echo of his footsteps on past deliveries, captured forever in time-stamped footage, the crumpled leaflet left on a doorstep that would never receive its package. For Kuljit, the documentary was salt in a wound, but it was also something else. Truth. They tried to erase him, she said in an emotional statement. They tried to erase my son from the world. But look, his story is still being told. He mattered. Aurman's murder wasn't random. It wasn't impulsive. It was deliberate, coordinated, and hateful. And the truth is, we still don't fully understand why. Prosecutors suggested revenge, an altercation at a kabaddi tournament the day before may have sparked it. A simmering feud turned fatal. But no motive, no explanation, has ever truly made sense. What kind of hate burns hot enough to plan a murder over a delivery schedule? What kind of person smiles behind a mask as they swing an axe into a stranger's back? In the weeks following the trial, tributes flooded social media. Friends posted cricket photos, old school pictures, videos of Aurman goofing off at work. Hashtags like hashtag Justice for Aurman and hashtag Say His Name trended across the UK. For a brief moment, his face was everywhere. But grief is a quiet thing. After the headlines fade, after the news vans roll away, families are left alone with the silence. The kind of silence that echoes in bedrooms untouched since the day they were last slept in. The kind that fills the space between breaths. The kind that says, he should be here. For Kuljit and her family, life is divided into 2 halves. Before August 21st and after, there's no going back. There's only the retelling. And that is why stories like Aurman's matter. Because somewhere, someone else is watching their child head off to work. Someone else is trusting that their colleague would never betray them. Someone else believes they'll see their loved one again at 6 p.m., just like always. But evil doesn't send warnings. It doesn't knock politely. It comes masked in silence, with a cricket bat in hand and vengeance in its heart. Aurman Singh never stood a chance. But his story, his truth, still does. So if you made it this far, don't let it end here. Like this video. Share his name. Keep the light on in the dark. Because justice isn't just about sentencing. It's about remembrance. And Aurman Singh will not be forgotten.